Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Nikki and today I have another card video for you featuring the April box from the Hedgehog Hollow. I wanted to make a card today that you could finish up in under 5 minutes. So what I decided to do was use a little bit of stamp masking paper and mask out a focal area front and center of my card. You can use whatever stamp masking paper you have in your stash. I just happen to have this kind here from Inkadinkadoo. I'm going to go ahead and die cut this with a circle die that I have in my stash as well. It's just a regular nesting circle die, so really whatever you have there will work great. So once I had the circle cut, I went ahead and peeled the release paper off the masking paper and I flipped it over so I could center my panel on there and make sure I had my circle right in the middle. So now that everything's in place, I can go ahead and work on that cute summer sky. I'm using Fiesta Blue from Catherine Pooler, and I have this stencil from My Favorite Things. It's a cloud stencil. You do not need to have this. I just happen to have it there, and I've never used it before, so I thought this would be a great time to give it a test drive. Like I said, if you don't have this particular stencil, go ahead and get you a piece of cardstock and a pair of scissors and trim out a cloud sort of design off one side. You can use that in place of it and it works fabulously. Make sure when you're doing your ink blending that when you start, you blend down off the masking paper onto your stencil, but after that, blend upwards off of your stencil. That way you get those really nice crisp lines where the cloud lines are. And don't forget to move it around a little to add a little bit of variety. And when you get to the bottom, just add a little bit more ink so it blends everything in. Once I peeled up all the masking paper, I went ahead and trimmed this down 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So the panel would measure 4 by 5 1/4. And then I rummaged through my little panel collection there to see if I could find something that matched it. I did find a piece of cardstock. It's from Basis. It's the most perfect teal blue. I'll have it linked for you below in the comment section. And I went ahead and added my inked panel onto that teal cardstock. Full disclosure here, this was not the first panel that I made. I was stamping the sentiment on the original panel and I completely jacked it up. So I had to go ahead and do another one. This one I went a little more light-handed with the ink, although I think I like the one that was a little bit, the one I did first that was a little bit darker, but it'll do. So I am using a MISTI this time to make sure I get my sentiment in the right spot, and I'm using this set from Clearly Besotted with one of my favorite sentiments in it, a little note, and I'm just going to put it right here in the bottom right area of my circle. The ink I'm using for the sentiment and also the birds today is Catherine Pooler as well. It is Midnight. And I've never really used a lot of Catherine Pooler inks before, but I am in love with how crisp the images come out. It is so nice. So next up, we're going to go ahead and stamp the birds. I'm going to use the two little flying birds out of the Art Impressions stamp set from the April box. I've already got them positioned on my MISTI. I'm going to do 2 up in the upper portion of my circle, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp one in the lower portion just beside my sentiment. I didn't want to color in these birds because the last couple of cards that I did with the April box, I did go ahead and I colored them in with Copics and things. So I just wanted a really light and airy kind of look for this card, so I decided to go with just the outlines. But in the April box, there's an Aqua Shimmer pen called Midas Touch, and it lays down the prettiest gold glitter. And it's translucent, so I thought that would be perfect for adding just a little bit of something to my birds. And I managed to get a close-up for you too so you could see the sparkle. To finish up this card, I thought it needed just a little something else, so I rummaged around in my stash and I found this really nice thin teal colored ribbon. And here's another full disclosure for you. I cannot tie a ribbon on a card to save my life. So what I normally do is I put a little bit of adhesive on the back of my panel and I cut a strip of the ribbon and wrap it around so it's all nice and straight. Then I do the bow separately, and that way I can fiddle with it a little bit and I can make sure it's all good and perfect, trim the edges, and I put it down with my secret weapon, which is a mini glue dot. And it holds on great. I mean, you can't really tell, I hope. But seriously, those glue dots hang on real tight. You don't have to worry about your bow falling off. And that's my card for today. I really hope you try out this technique for making that pretty summer sky background. All the links for the goodies I used today are below in the comments section. If you like today's project, please click that subscribe button for more crafty goodness, and thanks for watching.